Welcome to the Wealthy Woman's Podcast, a podcast for high-achieving women who are great at making money but struggle to build wealth. You'll learn how to take control of your money, increase your net worth, and make more. Ladies, it's time to create a life with more money and more freedom. Let's dive in. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I hope you all are having a fabulous week so far. And today we are going to dive into how to grow financially by shifting from becoming a passive learner to an active learner. Because the truth is, becoming a person who takes action on what they learn is the key to growth and progress. Now, before we get into this, I want you to know that I am not just talking to you during this podcast, but I am talking to myself. There are so many areas of my life where I know that I am a passive learner, where I'm consuming lots of information, but I'm not applying it to my life. And so just know that as I talk to you today, as I share these concepts and tools with you today, I am preaching to the choir, okay? I am talking to myself because it is so much easier as a human to passively learn information versus actively learn it. And you're going to learn more about those two concepts right now. Okay, so here is a brief definition of both concepts, being a passive learner and an active learner. And then once I give those definitions, we'll dive into each of them separately. So the definition around being a passive learner is to absorb information without applying it. So it means you consume information, you learn new things, but you actually don't apply it to your life. You just are learning, right? And it doesn't go any further than that. On the other hand, in order to become an active learner, that involves actually applying or implementing what you learn to your life. So you go from just consuming information, listening to information, learning new ideas, to taking those ideas and taking that information and actually applying it to your life, trying it, taking action on it, seeing how you can actually make those ideas and concepts work for you. Now, most of us, as I kind of alluded to earlier, because I'm one of them, most of us are passive learners because passive learning actually feels really good. It feels productive because you are learning new things, right? We have been taught as a society that learning is the thing to do, right? The more you learn, the more you earn. So they say that's not actually true. It's about the implementation of what you learn, right? And the problem with this is when you just are stuck in passive learning without any implementation, your life stays the same. So you're learning all this information, you're taking notes, right? You're getting all of these ideas, you're feeling inspired, you're feeling encouraged, but it stops there. You're absorbing the content, but you're not acting on it. Does that sound familiar? I know it really hits home for me. Now let's go ahead and look at some examples that you may be able to relate to. Here are some ways that we as human beings can indulge in passive learning. Number one, we can listen to podcasts, right? You're listening to one right now. Reading books, watching YouTube videos, watching TikTok videos, attending webinars. Now, doing these things are actually really good for you, right? There's nothing wrong with any of these things. But the problem comes in when you are just, again, absorbing and consuming the information without applying it, without taking action on it. And as I said earlier, this is easy to do because passive learning feels really good because it seems like you're making progress. And when your brain thinks you're making progress towards something, it will give you hits of dopamine, right? Because it's like, oh, you're learning something new. Good for you. Yeah, that feels good. Let's do more of that. It's actually pretty funny and tricky because your brain loves for you to just consume. It would love for you to sit and consume every podcast, watch YouTube videos, read a whole bunch of books, and never do anything with it. Because again, it'll make you think you're making progress and it'll give you the dopamine so that you keep doing it. And it tricks you to think that that's enough because it's actually uncomfortable to take action on things. Remember, your brain likes to stay in its comfort zone. It doesn't want to do anything different. It wants to do the familiar things that it's used to doing, and it wants you to stay in your comfort zone. And so it's like, hey, just listening to the podcast is enough. That's all you need to do. Just watch those YouTube videos. You don't need to try any of that. No, that's uncomfortable. This is good. And it gives you the dopamine hits to make you feel good about doing it. But again, it's a trick. It's an illusion. It feels like you're making progress, but you're not, because you're not getting any measurable results. Your life stays the same, even though you have more knowledge in your brain, right? Let's take a non-money example. Let's pretend like you have been thinking about exercising, right? Maybe you have a goal to exercise. Maybe you know you should be exercising. So you're listening to podcasts about exercising. You're watching YouTube videos about exercising. You're watching TikTok videos about exercising. You may have even gotten a book on exercising, right? And your brain is like, yes, we've got all this knowledge. It's giving you dopamine hits and saying, keep reading, keep learning, keep watching. But the truth is, you're still the same. Your body has not changed. Your brain has more knowledge, but your health and your body has not changed. And it will only change if you go from just passively learning about exercising to actively learning about exercising. And actively learning means you actually exercise. You actually do what the YouTube videos are telling you to do. You actually do what the books suggest for you to do. And I actually notice this phenomenon with many of my clients who I work with inside of the Wealthy Woman's Academy, because they have experienced this in the past, right? They have consumed tons of information and advice about money, but they only started to actually see results like more savings, less debt, higher net worths, less stress about money, more peace of mind when it comes to their finances, feeling more financially secure after joining the Wealthy Woman's Academy. Why? It wasn't because they just joined, right? It's because they took action on what they learned after they joined, because they had the support, they had the guidance, they had the accountability, they had someone in their corner helping them to take action on everything that they learned. Because the Wealthy Woman's Academy has so much support. It has the support, the guidance, and the accountability, as I just said, and it helps them move from being passive learners to active learners by taking action on everything that they've learned while in the academy. Now, I know I've mentioned active learning quite a bit, so let's go ahead and dive into that. Let's explore it deeper, because it truly is the key to financial growth. So active learning is applying what you've learned to your life, and I'm sure you can gather that by now. Active learners move from simple theory to practice, and this is what creates financial growth. Active learning is about implementing the knowledge you've gained, even if it's uncomfortable. So let's go back to our non-money example where we looked at exercising. So if you were to go from just learning about exercising to actually exercising, you may feel some discomfort, right? You may be sore, you may be tired, it's unfamiliar to you, and your body isn't going to want to do it. But if you are committed to becoming an active learner, then you are willing to push through that discomfort. And remember, your brain wants you to just stay in that consuming passive learning mode because you don't have to do anything, right? And it feels good. And when you start to put the things into action, that's when the discomfort comes. But remember, everything you ever wanted is a few steps outside your comfort zone. So if you want a slender body, a healthier body, you have to be willing to move past your comfort zone to get there. Now, let's look at this from a financial example. Let's say you have been learning about index funds and you've listened to podcasts about index funds, you've read blog posts about index funds, and you even have maybe watched some YouTube videos about index funds. If you stop there, you're just a passive learner, and it feels good to just learn. But here is how you move from being a passive learner to and active learner. So you learn about the index funds. You still learn, you still research, you still watch the videos, you still listen to the podcasts about it. You may even have a book. But then you don't stop there. You go and you actually open a brokerage account. And you don't stop there. Then you make your first deposit. And even then, you don't stop there. After you make your first deposit, you set up automatic deposits that will go to that account every month from your checking account. Now, that is growth. Can you see the difference? In the first example, where you're just passively learning about index funds, your wealth isn't growing. You're not investing. You're not learning about the markets. You're just consuming information. But the true learning will happen when you're in the trenches, when you're getting dirty, when you're getting a little bit uncomfortable, because now you've got money in the market. That is money that you're not going to just impulsively spend. You're going to actually invest it, and who knows how the market may perform. But again, if you've done your research and you've done your due diligence, you know the history of the markets, you know the history of index funds, and so you should be well equipped to weather any ups or downs that may come. But it's a huge difference, because now in the active learning phase, you're building wealth, you're growing, your net worth is increasing, you are doing the thing. And this is the kind of work you'll do when you join me inside of the Wealthy Woman's Academy. Every single member isn't just given knowledge, but they're also given the tools, the action steps, the support, and the accountability to put those actions into practice, to put those learnings into practice. If you're interested in becoming a member of the Wealthy Woman's Academy, all you have to do is go to the show notes and click on the link, or simply go to jermainefoley.com/WWA. That's Jermaine with the G, foley.com/WWA. And when you get to that webpage, you can read all about the program. You can read all about the support, all about what I stand for, what my philosophies are about helping my clients reach their financial goals. Remember, I am not about restriction and deprivation. I believe that you can build wealth and enjoy life at the same time. And that is at the core of the Wealthy Woman's Academy. So if that is something you want for yourself, you are a woman who makes good money, and you know that you can be so much further along than you are, and you want support, help, and guidance getting there, and you don't want to keep just consuming a bunch of information and not taking action, then you are invited to join me. Again, you can go to the show notes or go to jermainefoley.com/WWA. And on that webpage, you can join from there. But if you're someone who actually would like to talk to me before you join, I suggest you read the webpage, get all the details, and scroll all the way to the bottom, and then go ahead and book a consultation to speak with me about joining. If you have any questions, if you have anything you just want to meet me first, whatever it is, I am here for you. You can scroll all the way down to the end of that page and book a consultation so that we can chat and get you moving in the right direction. Now, you may be thinking, okay, Jermaine, I'm definitely a passive learner. I consume podcasts, I read books, I watch YouTube videos for hours. Where should I go from here? Well, of course, I think the Wealthy Woman's Academy is a great place for you to really, really get the results you want. But before you go there, I want to give you this too. Know that you are not alone. Remember, I started this podcast off by saying I am preaching to the choir. I am talking to myself. There are aspects of my life where I consume and consume and consume, and I never take action. When it comes to money, I take action, right? But there are other areas of my life where I'm not. And that might be the same for you, right? You may have other areas of your life where you learn and you implement everything you learn, and you have grown in that area of your life. That could be with your health. That could be with your relationships. It could be with your career. But maybe when it comes to this money thing, you're just all about consumption, right? And you just haven't gotten to the place where you're taking action. I want to normalize that for you. That is normal. You are not alone. We all have this. And I want you to know that it can change. And that's why I created the Wealthy Woman's Academy, for people like you who want to change, who want support and guidance. So that's the first thing I want you to know, that you're not alone, right? And the next thing I want you to know is that awareness is the first step to change. So now that you're aware of it, you can do something about it. If you're not aware of something, you can't change it, right? Now you know, oh, I'm a passive learner. I like just learning about money, but I'm not a doer. I'm not actively taking action on the things that I'm learning. I want to change that. I want to become the kind of woman that doesn't just passively learn about building wealth. I want to be the woman who actually builds wealth. And so you can decide, literally make a decision that when it comes to money, when it comes to your finances, when it comes to building wealth, you will become an active learner. And literally in that quick of a moment, you can shift your identity from being someone who just consumes information and doesn't take action to someone who consumes and implements. Okay? You can decide that I am an active learner when it comes to my finances. When it comes to my money, I am an active learner because my financial security now and in the future is important to me. So important that I'm not just going to passively learn about money. I'm going to do something about my money. I'm going to actually start implementing the things that I've learned. And with that, here's your challenge. There are over 80 episodes of the Wealthy Woman's podcast. Take one of the concepts you've learned, one that has kind of stuck out to you. It could be, creating a non-restrictive spending plan or creating your spending plan ahead of time, getting your debt snowball going, opening up a high yield savings account, opening up a brokerage account so that you can start investing in index funds. Whatever it is, pick one of the things you've learned and apply it, right? Apply it to yourself. Do something about it. Take action on it. Now, for those of you who struggle with taking consistent action on your own, you are who I created the Wealthy Woman's Academy for. The Wealthy Woman's Academy will provide the structure and support that you need. The Academy is designed to move women like you, women who make good money but are not building wealth. It's designed to move you from learning about money to actively building wealth with lots of support, with lots of personalized coaching, with lots of opportunities for growth and to get your questions answered and to have someone in your corner when you're doing amazing and when you make a mistake. This program is built with you in mind. You have long-term support. Here is why the Wealthy Woman's Academy is a year long. Some people may be like, oh my gosh, that's a long time. But think about it. You have been living your life for decades, and the way you've been handling your money is an ingrained habit that is not going to go away overnight. You have been handling your money a certain way for decades. And if I told you that in 6 weeks you will be completely different, I will be doing you a disservice. So I want to give you a luxurious amount of time to completely change your financial life. And 1 year is the perfect amount of time to do so. It's literally the perfect amount of time. Do you have to spend a whole year? No, but you have access to the support, the guidance, and accountability every single month, every single week to keep you moving in the right direction. So what you'll get is something I call kickoff calls. You'll get 4 of them because I want you to hit the ground running quickly. So as soon as you join, you get 4 private calls with me where we will get you set up. We will get your financial goals. We will figure out what it means for you to enjoy life. We will figure out how you are going to move forward over the next year in 4 sessions, and we're going to get you moving. So in 30 days, you will be a totally different person. You're going to start noticing a difference really, really fast. And then this is something new that I've added. So when you go to jermainefoley.com/WWA or to the show notes, you'll read all about the Wealthy Woman's Academy, and you'll see that I added even more private support. Okay. So after you finish with your 4 kickoff calls, you will have the option to book a private call with me every single month so that you can have that accountability. I hear that word a lot, People want accountability. And I will be in your corner and I will help you become accountable to yourself, which is the most important person for you to be accountable to is you, right? And so I will help you to do that, but I will be there when you make a mistake, when you have maybe overspent, you know that, oh my gosh, I got an appointment with Jermaine coming up. I know I can get back on track. And you get weekly group coaching calls that you're invited to. So you don't even have to wait a whole month to get support. If you had a week where you're just like, life threw me a curveball, I wasn't expecting this expense or that expense, I had to use my credit card, Jermaine, I'm freaking out. You get to come to those weekly group coaching calls and you've got me in your corner there as well. But you also have those private monthly calls where you can bring the stuff you may not want to talk about in the group to me there, and we can strategize and come up with a plan together. Okay. You'll also have 24/7 access to the Wealthy Woman's Academy online course, so you can learn and grow at your own pace, and you can bring any questions you may have, any aha moments, any celebrations. You can bring those to the group calls and or to your monthly calls. Again, all you have to do is go to the show notes. You will have me in your corner for an entire year, cheering you on, helping you to get up when you make a mistake, helping you through the hardest parts, helping you celebrate your wins. Just having someone in your corner, that is priceless. So let me go ahead and recap what I said just a few minutes ago about transitioning from a passive learner to an active learner. Number one, remember, you are not alone. This is something that most human beings, I would say almost all human beings, struggle with. And this might just be your thing. Money might be the area where you're passively learning, and that's okay. I have my areas and other people have theirs as well. Remember, awareness, the fact that you're aware of it now is a game changer. Now that you're aware, you can change it, okay? Decide that you're going to move from being a passive learner when it comes to your money to an active learner. And that can happen with just a decision. And then finally, I don't care how many episodes you've listened to so far. If you've listened to every episode of the Wealthy Woman's Academy, or if this is your first episode, take something you've learned, just one thing, and actually take action on it. Take action on it so that you can practice being an active learner, okay? So making the decision is so important, but then you actually have to do it. I hope this episode was helpful. Remember, if you want my help and my support, all you have to do is go to jermainefoley.com/WWA or go to the show notes and read all about the Wealthy Woman's Academy. It is one of the best investments you can make, and the price, you won't find it anywhere else. For all of the support, the private support you get 4 private kickoff calls and a private coaching call every single month, plus group coaching. There is no way that you can fail in this program unless you quit. If you don't quit, I promise you, you will get results. For an entire year, if you stay the course, get support, get the help you need, even after you make a mistake, even if you don't feel like it, you will grow financially, period. The only way you won't do it is if you don't show up or if you quit. I hope this was helpful. I will see you next week. Bye-bye. Hey, before you go, if you're ready to create a life with more money and more freedom, then you're invited to join the Wealthy Woman's Academy, my signature coaching program where you'll learn how to take control of your money and build wealth without sacrificing your lifestyle. To get started, head on over to jermainefoley.com/WWA. That's Jermaine with a G. See you over there. Bye-bye.